out of here pretty fast, huh?
The Jazz lead by 25, and only for the second time ever in franchise history, in 258 times, they lose. They lose it in overtime to the Pelicans, the first time ever in franchise history. They lose when leading by 20 at the half. We're talking about it next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke along with Ron Boone. The Utah Jazz were perfect in the first half. 69-49 they led. They could not have been better. They led by 19 at the end of the first. They led 14-0. It was embarrassing in this building. The fans do the silly thing where they stand until their team scores, which makes zero sense. I've said this forever, and they proved tonight why it makes zero sense, because they had to stand through a timeout. It's ridiculous. And instead, the Jazz lose the third quarter, 33-20. They lose the fourth quarter, 28-21, as CJ McCollum goes bonkers. And the Jazz get outscored 61-41 in the second half and lose it in overtime. As I mentioned in the open, it is the first time ever in franchise history the Jazz up 20 at the half and lose, and only the second time in franchise history the Jazz have ever lost a 25-point lead. It is only the third time this year a team has lost a 25-point lead. The Spurs lost one to the Clippers, and the Heat lost one to Orlando. Ron Boone, where do you want to start?
Let's start with the good stuff. First half, how good they look. Pushing the ball up the floor, scoring early in the shot clock, and getting exactly what they wanted. I don't know if it was the defense or the offense that really carried that first half.
So, I mean, I think it was a lot of things, right? They defensive rebounded brilliantly after not defensive. Walker was back. They played with great tempo and pace. They really took advantage of the Pelicans, who were last in the NBA in defensive transition defense, and were getting great early looks and secondary looks in their offense, I thought. And then defensively, they did a nice job. But I thought it was really offensively as much as anything. I mean, the Pelicans are, it's worth pointing out, the Pelicans in the half court are 28th offensively, and transition are 10th. So if you can keep them out of transition and they're in the half court, then you kind of have them, and that's, I thought, what the Jazz did in the first half.
Yeah, it was obvious that was the case, and everyone got involved. I mean, they were making shots. Defensively, they were keeping the Pelicans off the offensive glass for the ball game. The Pelicans with only 6 offensive rebounds. And why is that important? Because the Jazz ended up shooting 39% there from the field. So you can't tell me there was some offensive rebounds to be gotten.
So I mean, it's interesting that by the end of the night, the Jazz ended up only shooting 39%. They opened the night 15 of 22. I mean, that's kind of a scary. I hadn't put that together yet. They started the night 15 of 22 in the first quarter. I'm doing this off the top of my head, and I'm not that smart, but that is 27 of their final 84, I think. That's a tough close to the night right there for the Jazz shooting, by the way. To close the night, 27 of your final 84 shooting. That it really after the first quarter, the offense fell apart tonight, is what we're discovering there, Ron.
Yeah, that half court and the pickup points, and I think we talked about that with Tim McCollum. Those high pickup points and the pressure defense, switching when you switch that high, then that court that caused the Jazz some problems. And the high pickup points and the point where they're starting to go one-on-one. You saw Collier trying to break the defense down, trying to finish at the rim, and not very good finisher right now. And that kind of just got the Jazz in trouble, where there was no passes type offenses.
They did have a stretch of that game where it really just felt like it was the Isaiah Collier isolation show, which was surprising to me. Jazz, by the way, shot 32% after the first quarter and shot 29.5% in the second half of this game, or 28.5% in the second half of this game. That's how you lose a 25-point lead.
Yeah, you will not win a lot of basketball games shooting that kind of a percentage. And then you look at the type of shots that they're getting. Most of them contested, especially when they were driving to the basket into the paint. Now, this is not a shot blocking team, but they were packing it in the paint. to the point where you were just not getting any clear shots.
Some interesting lineup the Jazz closed the night with. We'll talk about that as we continue here on today's show. The closing five tonight was really something that I think will jump out to everyone. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off on Prize Picks. Ron Boone, you're supposed to check, right? While I'm doing these ad reads, you're supposed to be checking what time our flight is. Yeah. Basketball season is heating up. There's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Pick more or less on two players for a shot to win up to $1,000. Think LeBron James is going to drop 30. Think CJ McCollum's going for 40. Now's the perfect time. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get that bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are heating up, and now is the time to get involved with FanDuel, because right now you can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Visit the website, share betting lines around the league with your team. It's all there for you on FanDuel.com. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On and the NFL. Jazz closed tonight with Isaiah Collier, Keyonte George, Bryce Sensabaugh for the Kyle Filipowski, and Walker Kessler till Bryce sprained an ankle, it looked like. That is the 5 of the 7 guys we're developing this year. What do you think the experience was for them?
Well, the experience for them, obviously, any close game you can put guys in is going to be a learning experience. But the mistakes that you make during those times should be a learning experience there as well. And I think these guys are finding out when you get to this level that it's awfully difficult to do some of the things that you're so accustomed to doing. So you hear coaches talking about players making the right decisions, making adjustments, and in those type of things. And just it's the reason that we see these guys out there on the floor. This is the reason that Will puts different combinations of these young guys out there on the floor. They're just giving them as much experience as possible because they're going to need it.
And what are the areas that are there specific areas you're seeing late by youth that they're going to learn more? Is it just that they're going to be more comfortable? What is it you're seeing there?
I think you touched on it quite a bit, David, about some of the things that they were doing in college. It doesn't necessarily work or translate at this game. Players are bigger, faster, stronger, and guys with more experience that you have that you need to work on, to get there. So with putting guys out there on the floor like we've seen, the number of younger guys that we've seen, learning how to play together is something big. But individually, you learn that things aren't as easy at this league, and we touch on this quite a bit. All these guys get scrapbooks, and it's awfully difficult sometimes for some players to make that leap. But hopefully we'll continue to see improvement, going toward the end of the season.
Can I go back to what you said? The game swung because they picked up their pickup point things. Should our guys be able to deal with that better, or is this?
Well, should have been able to deal with it better. Absolutely. I mean, especially getting the basketball to the middle. I mean, those pickup points were very, very high, and then they were trapping. So you get the basketball to the middle. Now you play basketball. You play off. You dribble. You screen away or something like that. But what they were doing was creating a mismatch, and then you saw a one-on-one game to the point where they were operating in the short clock. We didn't have the kind of players on the floor at that time that could finish and do things in the short clock that Will needed.
CJ McCollum goes off for 45. How'd they get him the ball? What could have the Jazz done?
It was the same play. They were creating a mismatch. CJ was a Steph Curry type 360 coming back around to get the basketball. The Jazz were trading over the top of those screens that were not going underneath. They were trading over the top. And CJ was making the mid-range jump.
He did make a few.
He made a few, and he did get three-point shots, I think, in the second half. But those mid-range jump shots that he was making over and over and over, free throw line, sometimes he get into a little farther into the paint. But that's where he really took advantage of the way the Jazz was defending him.
All right, reliability plus time on the night where the Jazz lose a 20-point halftime lead for the first time in 127 chances in franchise history. 256-1 when leading by 25. Going into tonight, they lose that as well. Pelicans win their 4th straight, 5th of their last 6, and 7th of their last 10. Jazz are last place in the Western Conference.
I only have 3.
You only have 3.
Yeah, I only have 3, and it's Kessler. Obviously, I mean, he's continues to do a great job. I thought Keyonte was fairly solid, and then Filipowski.
I would give Keyonte for 10 free throw attempts.
Yeah,
that all by itself would give him a plus. And you're going to Filipowski for his 17 rebounds.
17 rebounds, and he did work very, very hard. He had 4 of those on the offensive glass in 38 minutes, and I think that's the season high minutes there as well for him. Even though they took advantage of him sometimes defensively, and you can expect that. You're trying to guard a guard that far away from the basket, and you just
they did a good job of putting him in really tough defensive situations in transition where the Jazz defense wasn't ready to be able to give him the help he needed.
Yes. So, again, he rebounded very, very well.
I might give one more. Nope. On the bottom.
I don't think so. Well,
okay.
You can give it to him. No, you go ahead. You
wouldn't do that one right there?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. No. He said. He said no. Lacey says we should not miss the flight because she's heard that New Orleans brought in 500,000 tons of rock salt.
Oh, it's 500 pounds now. It's not 400 anymore. Let me see, Lacey, what time this flight. They haven't even put a time.
No, we've got it. 10:25. We got to go.
10:25.
Yeah.
Oh, we're out of here.
Yeah. See ya. Adios. Have a great one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.